are targeted, and depth of champion pool becomes a lot more important. If there is a criticism that people have levied against Sniper, it's that he's really good at his picks, and outside of his picks, he's not that strong. He even got his picks, but since it's been Aatrox twice in a row, Fudge has been able to prepare all week to go up against it and has succeeded both times.
Yeah, and the Kaisa coming out, we'll see where the Rell ends up going, if that's going to be River or Eyla. But Kaisa is really interesting. I did want to point out that Meech is the AP Kaisa enjoyer that we've seen in the LCS, so I'll be curious to see if he goes that specific build and what it could mean for their draft going forward for what they pick for their solo lanes.
Yeah, interestingly enough, we've got the Senna and the Smolder banned away. Also, the Lucian from last game, Berserker's presence on it was impressive enough for 100 Thieves to need to ban it out. The Ahri
hovering the Vigar.
Well, just sort of being like, hey, I recognize that you guys play all this stuff, so just reminding you it all exists. What do they actually want to go for on C9? We'll see. Again, Jatt, you already mentioned the Rell for 100 Thieves is a flex between jungle and support. We'll see where they ultimately want to pilot that. But the bot lane for C9, we'll have Vulcan on the Engage, on the Nautilus. Lots of people prefer seeing Vulcan on Engage champions. He will be doing that again this game, next to Berserker's Varus.
Yeah. Don't sleep on Vulcan's Nami. 3-0 now.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind for the next round. That was one of the best Lucian Nami games you've seen. But as you say, Flowers, a much more standard thing for Cloud9 here. Tons of Engage. If they're able to win lanes, it gives them a lot of tools and go buttons to try and bring this one home. And that is a Yasuo.
Yeah. Well, Varus is all projectiles. Ahri is all projectiles. There's a lot of value you can get out of the win wall. You've also got Rell immediately for some knock-up setup, but that is really surprising to see. Before we even get to the second half of the bans, I'm really excited to see what else they pair with this.
Do we think there's a chance it's a flex? And they could save it top? I mean, I think Quid will probably pilot it, but I am curious to see what they do with the Yasuo in terms of, because I'm looking at this draft and on the 100 Thieves side, and I'm kind of like, theoretically, I could not know where two of these picks are going.
I don't think it's a flex, only because Sniper in his amateur and academy career doesn't appear to have a single Yasuo game, and we know it's an okay matchup against the Ahri, so I believe it's going to be a Quid pick. It's going to be his 13th unique champion picked already this split, so he's been an incredibly versatile player for them, and they're using this as, I think, a little bit of a Hail Mary to try and come back in the series.
Yeah, as we see, I'm curious to see what... Okay, so the Jace and the Gragas coming through as potential Sniper champions. They're now banned out by C9.
And I think the Gragas is possibly even a jungle ban against River, because the old school combo was Gragas Yasuo. You just walk in the lane, throw your R, boom, wombo combo, get the kill.
Easy peasy.
Not anymore.
All right, so Jason Gragas banned out. The Wukong and the Poppy both banned away by 100 Thieves. Poppy is really good at shutting down stuff like Rell, like Yasuo. These champions are really good at dashing. But hey, you want to talk about easy setups for some knockups for Yasuo? Alistar is going to be the pick for Eyla.
It's just a Yasuo comp. You knock him up and you win.
Yup. Nothing to it. Solo queue special.
Honestly, if 100 Thieves are defaulting to this, where they're like, Quid is our best performing player, we're going to design a composition for him to succeed, I don't hate it. It's not a bad strategy.
Yeah, but what I think 100 Thieves really need to turn this series around is for Sniper to have something that can beat Fudge's Renekton. Because he has been very poor this series compared to Fudge. I think he has 1 kill, and it was at the tail end of that last game. Fudge has been completely dominant in every laning phase. He's had counterpick both times. Here's Sniper's chance with a lot of top lane bans, right? They've already gotten rid of the Olaf. They've already gotten rid of the Jace. Maybe he goes with something like Aatrox, and it's a rumble.
It's a rumble pick
for Sniper.
Instead. I like the fact that they got some extra power here for this mid-game. The AoE combined with the Rell, the Rumble, Yasuo over the top. There's some serious team fighting power here.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how 100 Thieves pilot this. On the flip side, though, Xin Zhao is something that I actually think Blaber excels at. You can play it almost in a carry style while still being able to visit your lanes. I really, really have appreciated the way that C9 and Blaber specifically have been tracking River in the early game, really making sure that he can't stop them pushing ahead on the map. And then looking towards topside, I am wondering how this Rumble, if he gets push over lane, how that's going to affect the rest of the map, and see if 100 Thieves can play around that.
Yeah, the top lane in particular, both of these past couple of games. Game number 1 with the Aatrox being played into the TF, you would expect Aatrox to be shoved in that one. But even in game number 2, it was Fudge just commanding leads in the lanes. Sniper is going to have to step up here. All of 100 Thieves is going to have to step up here. But I feel like certainly the comp itself just directs your eyes where to go. It's mid lane, it's Yasuo, it's Quid. The pressure's on for the Thieves. It's a 2-0 series for their opponents right now. It's either you win or you're going to the lower bracket.
Absolutely, and going in to this final game, I think it's time to zoom out and go a little bit big picture here. Because throughout the regular season, 100 Thieves were the surprise stars. People were thinking, I was thinking, this team was going to be 6th, maybe 7th, a fringe playoff team, but they ended up being tied for first at multiple points throughout this season, yet Cloud9 was expected to run over everyone, and we might need to pause because they're going for Sniper. I think he's okay. Yet Cloud9 greatly underperformed expectations, but there was always this edge about them, wondering if they were going to be able to turn it on.
All right, and as we wait for the minions to spawn in game number 3, we're going to go ahead and toss things back down to Mrs. Chim Chim for an interview this time with Mithy.
Hey y'all, I am here with my best friend Mithy today. Now y'all have been getting a little bit of flame for the Lucian Nami, but it obviously worked for you in that last game. What about it do y'all see in it, and how is it helping y'all clutch the win?
Well, we just think they're strong champions, not always in lane, but in the mid game. So it's just something that is not as easy to execute at first. So it's just been about trying to make it work throughout the split, which it's not always been easy. But I feel like we're at a spot where we're very comfortable. So it's good.
Love that. And I saw that Berserker built Voltaic on Lucian. Now, is that something that you recommend for the players at home in solo queue, or was that a Berserker special?
I think he was just very fed, so he didn't. I mean, it was good that game as well. It didn't really have tanks, so it was a fine item. But nah, normally don't do that. Yeah.
Alrighty, thank you so much. And casters, I'm gonna send it back to you.
Always great to hear from coaches, and they're just like, yeah, actually, don't do that, but it worked out fine.
But it was fine. And I'm really curious to see what happens in this third game here, because I'd say going into the series, Cloud9 had a little bit of an edge to them, since they've been underperforming and needing to stay sharp to kind of prove things were going right. Whereas possibly 100 Thieves, and this is a little bit of speculation, but they might have been a little bit satisfied after how well their split had gone and how well specifically that energy game went, where they're able to style on them with Sniper getting 4 solo kills and playing Veigar Shaco as Blaber Blastcone's right in the river. But basically now, because that last game was so lopsided in the favor of Cloud9, you can get a little sloppy in this third game. They know they have some lost forgiveness here where they could drop 2 games and still win the series. But Blaber is on to river.
Yeah, the problem is Rell does not win these 1v1s. River trying to get away back to the safety of his team. Blaber marks him, but the way it becomes lightning. It's first blood over to Jojo, but it gets traded 1 for 1. Both junglers fall.
Buff transfer complete up to Sniper,
so.
who now has blue buff. But I think the thing that was set up by that, not only was River kind of right here hovering, trying to make something happen, but also they, again, have been doing such a really good job of tracking him. They tracked him at his own red from Fudge kind of getting in there and being able to see it. So, I mean, I think going forward, I'll be super curious to see, how this top side ends up going with now Sniper in a much better position, I'd say, than he's been in the previous 2 games. And then also what both junglers are able to do, as we see Vulcan already on a roam towards mid.
They're trying to put Quid in the dirt. Jojo has the red buff as well, which is going to allow him to push Quid even more. Getting his shield off. Vulcan, I think he's here in case there's like a jungle cover and they go for the jungler. I don't think they can actually do a dive on Quid this early in the game.
No, there's not enough damage there, especially when you consider that Yasuo's got wind wall, right? It's just, there's a whole lot of risk involved. Jojo's going to keep trying to push this up. Teleport's still available for both of our mid laners. Top lane, Sniper has Ignite as opposed to TP, so that's another thing we'll need to keep our eyes on as we get later into the game for how it affects the macro state of things. Fudge has already used his teleport to return to lane. So let's see how things are going to continue playing out here with both our junglers in the bottom half of the map. River's kind of just, this feels like one of those missions in an old game where you have to like sneak around and follow the NPC character, but Blaber is currently got enough backup from his team to go after the enemy support. There's your lockdown. Uh-oh, 100 Thieves. You're about to lose your support, and Berserker's about to get the money for it. Berserker grabs the kill there as Jojo survives with 100 HP back in the mid lane. It was Fudge and River both showing up, trying to make a move.
Yeah, and once again, we see a positive play for C9 met with a set play that River was trying to go, avoiding that vision, right? Trying to help out Quid. And so Quid's going to get pushed over this lane, but they are unable to get that kill onto Jojo.
Yeah, and it's looking to be a good early game for Cloud9. Once again, Blaber an early start on this Drake. The bot lane massively ahead. I'd say we've talked a lot about Fudge and Sniper, but Berserker has really shown up this series. He was very poor compared to his standards in the regular season and has been very good in this specific series. 1,000 damage per minute in the first 2 games. Almost 1,000 gold up at 14 minutes in this series early on. And again, a big lead in the 3rd game.
First 2 grubs went over to River and 100 Thieves. Nicely done from Jojo. River ends up giving it away to the 2nd part of the Spirit Orb. Jojo stops 100 Thieves from being able to have full grub control.
Let's talk about Jojo's Ahri for a bit, right? Because this was the pick when he was on Evil Geniuses, where everyone was like, Jojo can only play Ahri. Like, his team loses if he doesn't play that. Kind of a similar situation where previously this was a pick that he would hop on that had the pressure in mid, but also pressure to sides, where he can roam, he can affect objectives, and I am looking forward to seeing more of that from Jojo in the series.
Uh-oh, Sniper drops the equalizer going in after Fudge, but he doesn't realize Blaber's already waiting on him. Sniper! Oh man, he even pops the flash, trying to get away there. The 100 Thieves top laner loses both summoner spells and his life. He was not ready for Blaber to be in that brush.
And Cloud9 has just been sharper.
Yep.
They're winning all the skirmishes. They're fractionally faster to a lot of these ganks. And these things are decided on very slim margins. Like, River was up there. He was in the river. He was just half a second slow to that fight. And the Ignite ultimate from Rumble, that power spike, is gone now. And Fudge is able to assist in another kill of Sniper.
League of Legends is not a game of seconds, it's a game of fractions of seconds.
Yes.
And just being there that little bit early is what ends up being able to make enough difference to turn that kill into a freebie. Cloud9 already up 1,500 gold at 7 minutes in. Game 3 is looking pretty similar to the first couple of games. Let's take another look at what Sniper thought he had.
Yeah, so he does not see Blaber. Oh, so the pet
He gets him with that.
visible.
It looked like he got him with that one minion, but maybe not have
Yeah.
noticed. Could have been a spectator bug because it was for a fraction of a second. And he just goes straight in as once you flash stun with the Renekton ultimate, you're able to pick him up.
Yeah, and I think the big thing coming out of Blaber's kind of lane coverage is, again, this is a really great style to see from Blaber in terms of he is able to affect his lanes. They're doing such a good job of tracking River. River is not able to set anything up, even when they think they have the setup and they have evaded vision and they think they have the play. And like you said, C9 has just been sharper across the map, and it's paying off in not only a gold lead, but again, Blaber has also been first to that Drake every single game off of any amount of bot or mid pressure they've been able to have.
And 100 Thieves really need to get one of their solo lanes going. It's how they generated wins in the regular season. Either it would be mid-jungle or it would be mid-top. But in every game, they haven't been able to get it. And again, Jojo walks away from a gank.
It wasn't just a gank, it was a shattering strike flash attempt from River that just didn't find the target. You could see what he wanted to do, but mis-execution on the mechanical aspect means Jojo doesn't even have to spend his own flash to get away.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
pretty
It's
good,
going
Jojo.
well for C9.
Unless you're River, then it's pretty
bad.
not.
Oh,
Another
Blaber
gank,
is
no
back up
flash.
topside.
Oh boy, Sniper. Yeah, no summoner spells to get away from this one. It is pretty easy to hit that third 3-talent strike. Fudge picks it up with the Call of the Meek, and I just feel like the entire map is collapsing for 100 Thieves.
And when I think of Blaber in lanes, I really do think of him going topside, right? Like earlier, we saw it this year with the Nidalee Renekton combination. But even previously, when Fudge was in his first season, as we were comparing his first season to Sniper's earlier today, that was how like Fudge would essentially stack waves, Blaber would be there, they would get ahead on topside, and that would be their in towards the early game on the top side of the map. As
Blaber and Jojo versus River and Quid. Now the problem is Jojo doesn't have a lot of mana left to work with. 100 Thieves, that might be the angle they could find here. Windwall goes down. Blaber knocked up by Quid, but that's not the target they would want to focus if they continued this. Charm again, just flies out, hits the minion. 100 Thieves still with control here. Blaber sidesteps away from the potential knock-up on the Tornado. About 30 seconds until the Drake spawns. 100 Thieves would like to maintain river control, keep Jojo locked here in this lane long enough to do something about it, but Jojo's teleport is about to be up. It will be available here in, what's the timer? 15 seconds. The Drake also spawning at about the same timer, so Jojo will be able to take up back and reset. Blaber's coming in. Quid saw the angle, but Blaber saw it too, and that just makes it all too easy for C9 to make the counterplay.
Jojo and Blaber are so on point right now. They had a couple options there. They could just delay until the teleport is back up, then move in for the dragon, but they got Quid's condition bad enough that they could actually just go for another kill, and it'll make this dragon uncontestable. There has probably been, like, maybe a minute in this entire series where a single lane for 100 Thieves was consistently winning. Like, the bot lane has been pushed in the entire time. It feels like Jojo and Blaber have consistently kept Quid on the back foot, and Sniper seems like it's almost impossible for him to get a kill. So now Jojo teleports back in with items, and they go for more.
Ayla is the one getting jumped on first, but the Alistar is pretty tanky. Not tanky enough. Vulcan's got the kill here at the start. Blaber keeping alive with the ulti, but he's about to drop. Shutdown goes over to Quid, but River's on the run. Berserker's still shooting, and Fudge has made his way in from the back. The Dominus is ready to rock and roll, and Berserker takes down River. It's another fight going the way of C9. It's another follow-up kill on the back end. This game 3 is looking just like the first two.
I was looking at that order and I was like, oh, Fudge is coming in, Fudge is coming in. They didn't even seem to need him in that fight.
That's the best feeling as a team when you have extra resources that you don't even need. You could see 100 Thieves just need something to happen, so they go in for the Yasuo ultimate, but with the timing of running back from base, they've already lost Eyla, and Berserker is untouched. Lethal Tempo Varus hitting the entire time, and Fudge, the only contribution he makes to this fight is this final stun onto Quid after the charm has landed. So what is that goal lead now? 4,000 at 12 minutes. The early games have been absolutely disastrous for 100 Thieves, and Cloud9 has won every skirmish.
Look, man, I don't mean to be a downer here, but I don't even know what you do as 100 Thieves to try to come back from this much of an avalanche early yet again. It feels like you're relying on a C9 mistake. They will grab that Drake, so at least C9 won't be stacking towards the soul for free this time.
Yeah, and that actually is pretty important because they do stop that super fast Drake stacking that C9 has had in both series, being able to get that off of kind of the reset that happened after the previous fight. It's still not looking great.
No, definitely not. And 100 Thieves, if they do lose this series again, are not eliminated from playoffs. It will just knock them down into the losers bracket. They will then play on the weekend, so they'll have a short amount of recovery time before their next series. If Cloud9 wins, they would have their next game next week in the winners bracket final.
Look how unafraid Blaber is. He's just like, yeah.
He's so strong.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I can deal with whatever you guys
You're going to duel the Knight's Vow dude with your Sundered Sky any day of the week.
Oh, absolutely. And then the only champion that can do meaningful damage to you is the guy that can be most likely shooting you from outside your ulti range, so you just disengage and walk away anyway. I mean, if you die to Alistar and Rell both punching you for 40 damage 1 time per second in the face, you've probably got bigger problems, and I don't think C9 have those kinds of problems right now.
I gotta ask, though, where has this Berserker been? Where has this Fudge been?
He was scaling up. Fudge is in some trouble. Sniper going after him, but Jojo's right there. That is so for Sniper, but it feels so good for Fudge and for Jojo.
And this is exactly what Jojo's Ahri can do, right? He set up that roam, was already pathing topside when they realized that they might be able to get that kill, or that Fudge might be in trouble from Sniper being able to ult and possibly solo kill him. So again, like, this is something that Jojo has made abundantly clear he wants to work on as a player. Just get better about seeing the map, about being a kind of in-game leader for his team, not only through like actual shot calling, but through plays on champions like Ahri, where you can just affect solo lanes as we go in on bot side.
3-man dive on Berserker. That time they've got enough to get it done. Meech gets the kill. Critically, 100 Thieves getting some money on a carry.
Okay, really, really big, because he was heavily down. The Kaisa needs to be strong enough to basically one-shot backline. Like, that's how this composition is going to work for 100 Thieves. They'll get a Rell or an Alistar knockup, then the Yasuo suspends, the Kaisa ults in, and they get the one-shot. So getting that bounty, actually really, really important. It's probably not enough, but it's nice to see 100 Thieves still fighting.
Yeah, and I mean, that has kind of been a hallmark of this team, right? Like, we talked about how the last time they faced C9 in regular season, it was almost a loss for them. They had a lead, they gave up a pentakill to Berserker Zeri, and then it came down to a very important team fight where they were able to lock down Jojo's Akali with the Vi. So I do appreciate, again, this is a very young team. They're very fun in terms of, we've talked about their combined kills per minute. We've seen that today. Most of those kills have been on C9 side, but we've seen a lot of bloodiness, a lot of fighting. They are very willing to fight. Maybe not necessarily when they should at times. Maybe they don't have itemization or their comp isn't online yet, but I do really appreciate that about this team, because they will continue to look for flips. They will try to look for windows where they can make picks or get teamfight wins.
He's dead.
Yeah.
Fudge wants this one, and Sniper does not. He'll try to walk away from it, but no. Dude, he's just going to die to the Renekton Sunfire Cape ulti.
2017 Samsung? What's the significance there? Chat? I want chat needs to tell us, but there's something to it. I just don't know what it is that his little Zoomer brain has, because he was 10 when that team won.
Zoomer brain.
He was 10 when he spammed that when that icon was made.
Oh my gosh.
How do we know he'll even remember? I don't remember anything from when I was 10. That part of my mind just doesn't work.
So like Core JJ won that world championship.
Okay.
There's some connection. That's for the future, but that was straight.
All right. Maybe we'll figure it out. Jojo lands a charm on Quid, takes half his HP as Jojo and Blaber try to get away, but the Wombo combo comes down on Blaber. He uses the ulti to stay alive. Nicely done. Blaber's still getting away. The power of Xin Zhao's defensive ulti, and now 100 Thieves trying to get Eyla and River out of the fight, but it ain't gonna work. Fudge goes on a rampage, and Eyla goes down, making a 3-0 for C9. They thought that Blaber was trapped with them, but they were trapped with Blaber. 8,000 gold lead 17 minutes in.
Just an absolute shellacking that Cloud9 is putting on to 100 Thieves. This is their statement series for how questionable their regular season has been. People had been flaming them for picking winning lanes and not being able to convert to victory. But these 3 games have probably been the 3 best games they have played as a 5-man unit. Watching this one more time, Blaber is flexing his golden item advantage. It starts 2v3, but ends completely in the favor of Cloud9.
Yeah, and it looks kind of good, right? Because you're like, oh, they're getting a little bit of damage on them. The Rell engage comes off. We're like, okay, maybe we have Blaber locked down. Nope. And then here comes, once again, Renekton TPing across the fight. Fudge can just absolutely go through and chew at their backline. They have no answers for him or Blaber right now.
And I really love the way that Blaber plays it, because he uses his audacious charge after he pops the ulti to get far enough away from Quid that Quid can't chase. So now it's just 2 meatballs and Meech. Then he flashes away from Meech. All that's left is 2 meatballs. Blaber does not care about either of these guys. It ends up working out beautifully. And now he's just stealing away more chickens. The man is running the map. 8,500 gold lead, 2 Drakes to 1. The grubs don't really matter that much. It's 3 grubs, that doesn't really matter. But man, what an absolute show of dominance from C9 in this game thus far. 4-0-6 for Jojo's Ahri, 4-0-3 for Fudge's Renekton. Jatt, you were bringing up previously in the series how the solo lanes have got to step up for 100 Thieves because that's how they found wins. Right now it's a 1-2-1 Yasuo, a 1-4-0 Rumble. That is not the recipe for success.
Yeah, absolutely not. When we were scouting this series out, we're thinking, how can it break? Mid, because Quid's an MVP candidate. A lot of people think Jojo's the most important player on Cloud9. What's happened there? Blaber and Jojo have won by a landslide, but I think the things that have made this series so one-sided is the fact that Fudge has also completely outclassed Sniper, and Berserker has been him. Right? Berserker has not been him in the regular season. My opinion, he's not going to make first, second, or third team All-Pro. He might, but his actual performance in the split was not that strong. However, the quality of player he is, people still don't necessarily doubt that, and he is absolutely turning it on this series.
So you'd say in the series, he's much closer to the Faker side of that graphic than the Raz
from
side.
last week. Yeah, but it's more about he's just, like, he has presence in this series. He's consistently pushed up. He's staying safe. He's being the one to deal the first bit of damage in the team fight. Even going back to game 1 with Senna, way better soul stacking, huge chunk damage in the mid game. The Lucian Nami game, signature. Builds whatever he wants to do, rapid fire cannons them in the mid lane. And then here with Varus, yes, he has that one death, the one misstep, but overall they dominate the lane, they kill the turrets. He's gonna be that ticking time bomb of auto attack damage Varus at the end of the game. Everything is just clicking for Cloud9 here.
For me, it's about how they've translated that to objectives, right? We've talked about how Blaber is at Drake almost at spawn off of that bot side pressure that Berserker and Vulcan are generating. Even earlier in this game, we saw Vulcan going for those super early roams, understanding roam timers off of what they can do from bot side pressure. And I think if there's something that impresses me way more about this C9 team, it isn't necessarily an individual performance, but it's how they're translating their actual advantages to objectives and really stifling anything that 100 Thieves wants to do around the map.
And I like that you were bringing up objectives and playing around the map, because now we're getting to the point of the game where since this Rumble Ignite didn't work out, it's going to be a big disadvantage going forward, not having that teleport for the side of 100 Thieves. Jojo's still dashing around here with a Spirit Rush, looking for any kind of an angle.
He really
There's the charm, finds Sniper, quick chunk of damage, but nothing they want to commit to just yet. It's an NA ram, boys. All 5 mid, both sides. Let's see how it rolls. Fudge is walking down towards the bottom lane, and this is what I'm talking about. C9 can afford to do that because they have the extra TP. Then if a fight breaks out back up here, boom, Fudge can rejoin while applying pressure to bottom at the same time.
I really feel like 100 Thieves is just hoping that something weird happens because they are down 9,000 gold and they need a one-shot to start this fight.
Well, the equalizer, unfortunately, was a little weird. It doesn't find a whole lot of success there. Just zones Cloud9 over to a part of the map they already felt safe on anyway, since they knew that 100 Thieves weren't setting up any kind of a flank in that bottom side river. Fudge already has the tier 2 turret down in the bottom lane, so another victory going the way of C9 as Blaber pushes up yet again, invading for the red, but Vulcan and Jojo are also nearby. They've got a ward that forces 100 Thieves all the way back out of their jungle.
Yeah, what a show of dominance from C9, right? Like, Fudge is just taking towers bot side. He's now TPing top, gonna push out that top side wave as well. And like you said, this TP advantage gives them absolute side lane control as well. They were reading those Reddit comments where they're like, I don't think C9 knows what a side lane is. Well, guess what? They learned, and they've been showcasing that prowess over side lanes in not only this game, but the rest of the series as well.
And I think this is going to make the rest of playoffs even more interesting. Like, Cloud9 was so lackluster during the regular season, but this is, with this, I'm going to say with this series win, if they close out this game, it's more of a statement than just a win, right? These have been 3 incredibly dominant games for Cloud9. Now, whether or not they can sustain this, since, like, literally, this is 1 day of data. We have like 6 weeks of regular season data where they weren't this. So this isn't necessarily like, oh yeah, they did the series. This is always going to be them. That's cope. They need to have a way of showcasing this level of performance as they move throughout playoffs. Then they'd be able to get that championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Nick Jersey?
Oh, Meech. Oh, nicely done there with the charm. And he flashes back in to finish him off with the Foxfire. Jojo just knows how to pilot this champion the right way, man. 5-0-6 on the Ahri. 11 out of 15 kill participation, tied with his own jungler for highest KP on the team. And now with the Baron buff, with the 5v4 advantage for the next 20 seconds, C9, I'd say they're knocking on the door, but they'll just kick the damn thing in. 100 Thieves can't say anything about it. This first inhibitor likely to fall with no contest. The minion waves aren't in a spot just yet to translate that pressure to the sides, but Fudge is quickly working to remedy that. He'll knock down the remaining tier 2 turret up there in the top lane. It is a 7-0 turret count this game.
I'm kind of curious, how many turrets have 100 Thieves gotten this entire series?
We can check the stats on that. I'm gonna guess it's about 2.
Yeah.
The first game, maybe 3, because the first game was definitely the closest, and then they have been increasingly more Cloud9 favored. I'm also curious to check the stats afterwards, how many solo kills Cloud9 have.
Well,
this one won't count as a solo kill, but it sure feels like one.
That one's not quite a solo kill, but just the extra little bit of lockdown from Vulcan makes it easy for Jojo to get that extra kill. Now, Sniper dead for 30 seconds. 100 Thieves still trying to defend. Jojo might be ready to recall here, but Eyla goes in for the flash. Pulverized. 100 Thieves looking to make their move. Finally, they need the burst. They got Berserker. Vulcan still staying alive somehow, but Fudge is in the back, and Meech is already dead. 100 Thieves, that was their last best shot, and they didn't shoot straight enough. Blaber still looking to chase down Quid with the wind becomes lightning as River runs from Jojo. I like the fact that they went for it, but they just were too far behind. C9 comes out into the playoffs and makes a statement. The statement being they're ready to play. 100 Thieves doing everything they can, trying to hold on at the very end, but C9 makes quick work of them. They don't even need to pad the stats. They'll take down the Thieves 3-0.
And this is the C9 we've been waiting to see. Again, Blaber's jungle control. Blaber and Jojo working together as this formidable mid-jungle duo. Them making the most off their bot side pressure with Berserker. Like, this was so amazing to see from this team, and it blows playoffs wide open.
When Jack assembled this roster and saw that he had 3 different players that won MVPs and had 13 individual LCS titles between the players, these are the performances he was hoping to see. They have been absent until today, but I am willing to say that Cloud9 is in fact back.
They sure look